of Daytona hosted the new Super Bowl of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with old-school super speedway racing in February. But now, with the racing spotlight shining on Indianapolis, the trucks return to their roots, short-tracking from IRP. Since the birth of the series, the trucks have beaten, banged, broken, and blistered this track, knocking each other's lights out. Tonight, points leader Greg Biffle hopes the light shines on him and his Granger crew as he attempts to hold off 33 other hungry trucks, defend his race win from last year, and put the number 50 in victory lane for Ford's 50th win in the Truck Series. After 7 straight races on tracks a mile or longer, we're finally back on the short tracks, and Greg Biffle has picked up right where he's left off. He's on the outside of the front row. But this is a different beast, Ned Jarrett. It's a single-day event.
Yes, it is. It reminds me of the days when I raced. I like that. Come in, practice, qualify, and then go racing. They didn't get any practice after they qualified, so if there are a few drivers out there that used a qualifying setup to get into the race, they're going to be in trouble in the race.
The only guy that was faster than Greg Biffle is our pole sitter for the 7th time on the Bud pole. His name, Joe Ruttman.
And when you've been racing as long as Joe Ruttman has, people make a lot of promises to you, but rarely are they fulfilled. Now, we understand tonight the truck owner, Bobby Hamilton, fresh from practice and qualifying at the Brickyard, has a bit of a promise to make to his driver. Bobby, go ahead.
All right, Bud, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to make a deal for you. You win this race for me, I'm going to hire you next year.
Holy mackerel, what a deal.
Let's go get him.
I'm going to win easy.
Sounds like Ruttman likes the deal. After all, this is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and as you've just seen, anything can happen.
Well, it's an ASC truck sponsored by NATEF, but it's not Mike Wallace behind the wheel. Rather, it's Jason Leffler. He's a USAC National Midget Champion and a Busch Series rookie contender. Jason, you have a lot of laps here at IRP, but what was it like taking one in a truck?
It was a lot of fun. You know, this Team ASC truck runs great, and, you know, it just handled good right off the trailer. I just got to thank Jim Smith and all the guys from Team ASC, Ron Weiner, for supporting me, and glad to be here tonight.
Well, Jason is qualified 7th, just 1 position ahead of his teammate Mike Wallace, and it may be Leffler that takes Wallace to school here at IRP.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and NASCAR 2000. Tonight, live from Indianapolis Raceway Park at round 18 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Powerstroke 200. 200 laps of racing here at the 5/8 mile oval known as IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. The weather, unlike last night when thunder got rained out, we're looking great. The points championship, that's looking great for Greg Biffle. He's 193 markers ahead of Mike Wallace, and the challenge tonight for everybody in this field, you better come up with a combination. You've got to stop Greg Biffle. The championship is starting to get out of reach. We're waiting for the sound, for the command, the engines to fire here at Indianapolis Raceway Park as we'll get ready to set the starting grid when we come back as NASCAR 2000 continues tonight from Indianapolis, Indiana. Stay with us. Engines have fired here, and you can see this crowd still filing into Indianapolis Raceway Park. Let's take a look at our Mopar starting grid. 12th career pole, 7th time this year with the Bud pole. Joe Ruttman, a record run at 111.8 miles an hour. Greg Biffle will line up right along outside. In row number 2, it'll be Kurt Busch. Jack Sprague, 4th in the points. He's got to make a move and a statement tonight. Jamie McMurray, coming off his pole last time out, finds himself in the number 5 slot. Mike Wallace right alongside in 6th. Then there's Jason Leffler. Talked to him just before, and he is in the 7th spot alongside of Rick Crawford. Then in row number 5, it's Ricky Hendrick in his 3rd Craftsman Truck Series start. Looking for his 3rd straight top 10, and Andy Houston.
And row number 6, Rick Corelli will roll up in 11th place along with Lance Hooper. In the 7th row, we have Lyndon Amick making a rare truck start, and Terry Cook, one of the veterans in this series. Row 8, we see Jim Engelbright and Mark Petty, a good qualifying run for him. Row 9, we see veteran Jimmy Hensley and Randy Tolsma. And in the 10th row, we see Marty Houston and Dennis Setzer.
Then as we move on through the field, it's Rick Ware and Jason Small in row 11. Then in row 12, Scott Riggs and Steve Grissom, both of them struggling a little bit. Lance Norick and B.A. Wilson in row 13. Row 14, Ron Barfield and David Starr. Then in row number 15, Tony Roper and Brian Reffner in on a provisional, as is Rob Morgan, Carlos Contreras in row 16, and Randy McDonald and Jeff Beck in row 17. That's your 34-truck field, and we sent a lot of guys home, Ned Jarrett.
Yes, we did. A big field of trucks here for the race here tonight. You see Steve Prescott, Coy Gibbs, Morgan Shepherd, Ronnie Hornaday, Donnie Morlock, Ryan McGlynn, and there's more. Wes Russell, Wayne Edwards, Tony
Abe, Jason Tom, Lonnie Richardson, Bobby Hills. Poor deal there for Tony Abe. That's his first chance in the Breback ride, and they had a brand new sponsor on board with Black Box Network Services. Let's take a look at our Powerstroke 200 race analysis. 200 laps, the purse just over $438,000. Pit window for fuel between 105 and 115 laps. The record set by Greg Biffle last year at 88.7 miles per hour. And every former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and I gotta be honest, guys, they have has won here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. They slid that out on me, Ned, a little bit quicker. Here's our onboards.
Okay, on board we'll be riding with Brian Reffner in the Johns Manville Ford. And also with Steve Grissom in truck number 43, the Dodge Motorsports Dodge. And we'll ride along with Dennis Setzer, who had a great run going here last year in the Mopar Dodge number 1. Randy Tolsmo will ride along with him in the Citgo Superguard Dodge number 25. And Jim Engelbrecht in the Jelly Belly Chevrolet. Filled it up. The bed is full here this evening. And Mike Wallace will take us for a ride as well in the Team ASE Ford. And Greg Biffle starting up on the outside pole in the Granger Ford.
5 drivers have won from the pole this year. Remember the Craftsman bonus, $10,000. Joe Ruttman did it from Phoenix. Quick updates from the pits, Amy.
Just thought we'd let everybody know how this deal came about for Jason Leffler. It was as simple as Jim Smith's connection with Jason from California days. ASE sponsors the Silver Crown car that Jason runs from time to time. And to sew up the whole deal, the pit crew from Mike Waltrip's team has come over to crew the car for Jason.
Coming out of turn number 4, the pace truck has pulled off. The pace is down at about 35 miles an hour. Round 18 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is now green. Whoa, contact the 99 Busch alongside of Joe Ruttman.
Well, Biffle got a great jump on the outside, but I'm not sure that inside is the place to be right now. Mike Wallace gets very loose.
As they come flying by on the first lap, the 44 of Mark Petty had some contact with the turn 4 wall. He's still out there running. Meanwhile, look at the battle here. That's the 24 Sprague going underneath the 41. That's Jamie McMurray. Here we go. Little Robin is racing. Look out.
That won't work.
3 wide coming down the front straightaway. Wallace trying to get underneath both of them, and he makes it, Ned.
What a move. He saw what was happening there. He said, let me get on the inside here and try to get by him. But here comes Sprague back on the inside, but can't get traction.
Boy, these guys are heating up the tires pretty quickly.
It doesn't take them long when they get to the short track.
Rick Crawford in the number 14, Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford. He's trying to get under the 41 as well. There is Sprague still gunning after the number 2 of Mike Wallace.
Whoa!
Got
Number
contact.
17 spins around.
That's Ricky Hendrick into the wall at turn 2. That's going to bring out our first caution of the evening.
Ricky had a great qualifying run here, started in 9th position.
Here on lap 4. Don't know if he got helped in that.
He was in a big bunch of trucks, Marty, so I'm not sure if he got tapped or not.
Last year we had 5 cautions. There you can see the crew talking to him. We'll get an update as soon as we can. The record for the event is 9 caution flags. That was back in '98. Oh, a lot of damage.
Yeah, flat tires there on the left side, left rear completely flat.
Let's take another look at it from up above in the Goodyear blimp. There's Ricky, and he's just sliding.
Just gets loose, and back end gets loose. Andy Houston goes by on the inside. slaps the wall not too hard. They might be able to repair that truck and get him back in.
His 2 prior starts, a 6th and a 7th. He's in the pit lane, Amy.
Well, they're sure going to give it their best effort as Jack Sprague's GMAC team came down to help as well. They are going to change the left side tires, some heavy damage to the sheet metal on the left front fender. But let's not forget, at Pikes Peak, we saw Ricky get around, and he came back and had a great finish. So let's not count this truck out yet, but they're going to try to do everything to get him out and not go more than 1 lap down.
Well, he is 1 lap right now, but it looks like that'll be it. He'll go back out and rejoin the battle. Greg Biffle is your race leader at the Powerstroke 200. Stay with us. Just back in time, you heard the call from the spotter on the 50 truck. It is green again here on lap number 8 at the Powerstroke 200. Greg Biffle in front.
Got himself a good restart there, pulled out 3 or 4 truck lengths in front of his closest pursuer, which is Joe Ruttman. But Ruttman comes back pretty strong in the corners as we see good racing back in the pack.
That's the 41 of Jamie McMurray. There is Brian Reff now. He is 24th. Remember, he started 30th in this field on a provisional. Did not even make a qualifying attempt.
I'll tell you, you're doing a good job, Marty, down on the inside of the track.
The John Mansfield Chevrolet, that's the toughest place to run here. Remember, the banking's only 7 degrees. Let's get an update from Amy East.
Well, you're right, Marty. He did not take a qualifying run, and that was because that he could not get through technical inspection in time to make a qualifying run. They did not have the right ride height on his front balance, and so therefore they feel they have a strong truck. As we see now, he will be making his way up through the field, but they did not get through the technical line to make their qualifying run.
I'm amazed at how well he's running that bottom line. The high line's the preferred, and here is a great example of it. Mike Wallace and Jack Sprague nose to tail. That's a battle for 4th on the racetrack. We're on board with Mike Wallace.
Wallace in the number 2 Ford truck. Here comes Sprague down on the inside. Couldn't get the run he needed then. Has to fall back in line. He's going to try it again. Here comes Sprague down on the inside. He jumps up beside him. Now he'll sort of try to use the power slide.
Oh, can't get much closer, and he's going to take the spot. So move Sprague into 4th, bump Wallace back to 5th, and Jamie McMurray was going to school in the 41 Ferris Concrete Dodge saying, I'm next. Dave, let's get an update. What you got?
Well, Jack Sprague is in kind of a new attitude this weekend, or maybe the old Jack Sprague coming back. He is really out to win this race after they were totally out to lunch at Michigan. It was a combination of the truck and what they tried to do to fix it, and they never got there. But Jack said, don't freak out, everybody. We are still fast, and we're going to win tonight if we have to run the fenders off it. And he may have just put a fender off of it, hitting the wall. But anyway, so Sprague is working hard to try to win this thing at all costs. Now, Jamie McMurray, he was on the pole at Michigan and finished 6th. McMurray was told by everyone he talked to, hey, buddy, you got to back it up on the short track. And they did it. He qualified 5th. And Jamie says the truck's a little bit loose right now, but they're very quick.
And he has done a very good job in his first 2 races in that truck, the number 41, with Jamie McMurray at the wheel.
He's running a good line around the racetrack right now. Watching Mike Wallace there in front of him. Doesn't have any pressure behind him, so he's going to school right now and learning.
There is Rick Corelli in the 66 Carlin Burners Control Ford trying to get underneath the 60, the Captain Reynolds Chevrolet of Andy Houston. And right in front is Rick Crawford. Now that's 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Boy, to pass on this racetrack, you just have to muscle yourself on the inside and maybe do a little bit of rubbing, as we've already seen. But Rick Corelli can't quite get the momentum he needs yet, as Houston now moves up closer on Crawford.
Here comes Jimmy Hensley in the 16, Ed Renzi's truck. Ed and Sam put that team together. And Hensley, remember, there was a time a couple of years ago when he led 200 of 202 laps. The first 200, and then we had a green-white checker. He had a tire go down. He lost the race.
Well, that was a heartbreaker.
Let's move back up front. There's Greg Biffle, your race leader. Joe Ruttman, the pole sitter, in 2nd place. Now, Mike Skinner won the first 2 races, lap wire to wire. Led every single lap. Will Greg Biffle try and do it again tonight? We'll find out. Stay with us when we come back. Biffle will not lead wire to wire in tonight's Power Stroke 200 because Joe Ruttman has taken over the race lead. And it almost looked like Greg Biffle was saying, hey, the pace is a little too high, Ned Jarrett. I think I'm going to slow down a little bit.
Ruttman really started putting the pressure on him. And see there, he really got on the inside of it. They almost touched, and then it came down the front straightaway. Biffle just moved to the inside and said, okay, if you want to race that hard, you go ahead. Rick Biffle's doing a little points racing, which is smart. Too early in the race to be banging around too much.
Let's go on board with Greg Biffle. A lot of traffic up ahead.
Yeah, they're beginning to catch up to the back of the pack. Now, Jack Sprague has passed Kurt Busch, taking over the third position. He dogged him for about 10 or 12 laps and truck in the wall.
Contact in the turn 2 wall. These guys are approaching it right there, and Rick Ware in the Dunlop Chevrolet has made contact almost in the identical spot where Ricky Hendrick had slid into the wall. So our second caution of the evening here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and it looks like Rick's going to be able to drive it off, but we'll have to wait to see how much damage on the left side.
Yeah, the right side looks okay.
Rick's still waiting to get it turned around from Los Angeles, California. His best finish so far this year, 17th back at Evergreen. And he's struggled mightily. His last time out, 26th at Michigan. And, well, in the left rear corner.
Yeah, he's got some damage there that he'll have to work on, but it doesn't look like the chassis is fouled up too much.
So he'll limp it on around, get the metal pulled back out. Pits are closed. You saw Dan Griswold waving the flag, the crossed flag. That means no one can come in except obviously he is. Let's go on board, see what happens right here.
Brian Ruffner gets on the inside and just a touch.
So
doesn't take much.
Unlike Ricky Hendrick, who got out of there on his own, Ricky Ware got some help from Brian Ruffner. And he is staying out.
I think he's catching up to the field, and he is already 1 lap down. He lost a lap while he was trying to get turned around and get hit in the right direction.
Not a bad move, especially since there was no tire rub. Right now, Joe Ruttman is your race leader as we look down from the Goodyear blimp. Stay with us. The year 2000 marks the 75th anniversary for the Goodyear blimp. Since 1925, millions have watched Goodyear's airships while they hover over special events. Today, it's the spirit of Goodyear carrying on that proud tradition. Great shots, guys. Thank you very much. We've got our third caution just as we come back to green flag racing. Rick Ware has turned it around again down in turn 1 this time, Ned. There he is.
I don't know what happened this time. He had lost another lap in the pits. He lost 1 lap on the previous spin. And this time, I think there's more damage to his truck than we saw the first time around. So, yeah, there's definitely more damage.
Yeah, this one could put him behind the wall for quite a while. So, Rick, a tough break here tonight, as it has just not been a very good evening for the 51 Dunlop Chevrolet. He may need help getting this one in.
Well, he's got it moving backwards a little bit, that it needs to go forward with it. Now, I think you're right. I think he's going to have help.
I was looking at the skid marks. We don't have a replay of this one. The skid marks look like he may have had a brake failure or something of kind, because he went straight to the wall, didn't even turn it around. Stay with us. Joe Ruttman is the race leader here at the Power Stroke 200. Looking down high above Indianapolis Raceway Park, along with Ned Jarrett, Amy East, Dave Burns, I'm Marty Reed. We're at the Power Stroke 200, and it is round 18 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and that is Rick Ware being towed back to the pits. And his crew is going to have to do a lot of work. And the pit crews, well, there's always that competition. A couple of weeks ago, the pros did it. All the teams got together, sponsored by Craftsman, and squared off. And it was a great showdown. Now, the winning team was the Petty Dodge crew. As they duked it out, there's Steve Grissom congratulating the guys. Now, just yesterday, downtown Indianapolis, the media got together. But first, we had to disqualify all the NASCAR truck, Winston Cup, and Busch drivers. They said they were whining too much. Now, this is our own ESPN crew. They went up against all the rest of the media, and for the second year in a row, it must be rigged, Ned. They won. I don't know how.
Oh, I tell you, congratulations, guys. Good job.
Dennis, Ben, Joel, Ryan, way to hold up the honor. Don't forget, tomorrow, the NASCAR Busch Series is going to be here for the Kroger 200, 8:30 Eastern Time, Indianapolis Raceway Park, as we head towards Saturday's Brickyard 400. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Great crowd on hand tonight. It's going to be even bigger tomorrow. It's always a sellout for that Kroger 200, and we're getting ready to go racing. Let's get an update on Greg Biffle from Dave Burns.
Marty, one of the reasons why Greg Biffle let Joe Ruttman go around him, Randy Goss told me the truck was not quick enough to lead. They're just a little bit, they just need to make a chassis adjustment on the first pit stop when they come in.
You heard all the spotters. One green isn't enough. It's multiple, and we're back to race it here at IRP. Joe Ruttman, Greg Biffle, Jack Sprague, Kurt Busch. That's your top four.
And Mike Wallace, 5th place.
If you're just joining us, welcome. Round 18 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. You're looking at Joe Ruttman. We've just completed our 3rd caution period. He has led a total of 15 laps. Greg Biffle has led the other 20. We're going 200 times around this track, the 5/8 mile oval. I'm Marty Reed, along with Ned Jarrett, Amy East, and Dave Burns. Hope you'll stay with us, because this is going to be a good race before it's all over.
The number 45 truck of Jason Small is on pit road, coasting down pit road very slow, so apparently he has a major problem.
You know, as we look at Joe Ruttman, he is one of 2 drivers who've completed and competed in all 5 previous Indianapolis races. The other driver is Jack Sprague. Sprague running in 3rd right now, and he desperately wants to get back on the winning track. This is the lowest he's ever been, Ned, in the points championship this late in the season.
They've had more trouble this year than that team has had in the past.
Let's go back a little bit further. There's Andy Houston going after the 14 of Rick Crawford, and that's a battle for 7th.
And right on Houston's bumper is Rick Corelli in the truck number 66.
Well, you talk about another guy who could use some good luck. Rick Corelli, that team has had more mechanical problems. He said more than I've ever had in the rest of my career combined.
They've had some awfully good runs, but just can't put it all together. Here he goes on the inside of Houston. He's got to run, but can he get the traction? Well, it stays up there part of the way at least. Let's see what he does going into turn 3. Drives around in there. Sticks for him. Rick, good clean driver. See how far away he stays from Andy. Might stay too far away to really get a good run off of that corner.
One of the things Andy Houston has been talked about on multiple Winston Cup, Busch Series rides. Now Corelli finishes the pass.
Just completed 40.
And I talked to Rick Wren, the crew chief, and he says all the talk about where Andy's going to go next year is really becoming a distraction for this team. They're 3rd in the championship points. They want to go after this championship, and he's trying to keep his team focused.
It doesn't take much sometimes to get a distraction, and they certainly don't need that right now.
Moving our way back through the field, you're looking at Brian Reffner and Jimmy Englebright. That is the battle for 19th on the racetrack. Now remember, Reffner got in on a provisional, started 30th. We're on board with Brian right now. Lucas Oil telemetry on Reffner's truck.
Wow, 8,800 RPMs. They crank them up.
He's dragging that brake a long time, too.
Yes.
Top speed, 130. Now on board with Jimmy Englebright. And now we'll take a look at his telemetry.
How close he runs to that wall.
Also up to 130.
Yep.
But didn't seem to be on the brake as long.
He sort of rolled into the corners.
That's Marty Houston in the Spear Chevrolet on the inside. For Englebright, his 4th race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That's what it looks like from way up above. He finished 15th back at Evergreen. Let's go to the battle for 11th. Jason Leffler in the number 5 has the spot. Terry Cook in the 88pickuptruck.com Chevrolet wants it.
Leffler's dropped back a few spots, but he's still having a great run here for his first time in this truck series.
While all
this has been going on, we'll update you that Ruttman is still your race leader, but Jack Sprague has managed to get around the 50 of Greg Biffle for the second spot. There's Randy Tolsma. A lot of action going on all over this racetrack. He is in 13th. We're on board with Randy. He's right behind the 88 of Terry Cook.
Drives in the corner, tries to drive down on the inside, but just taking different lines around the racetrack. Basically, that's what that is. And of course, if the truck in front of him should slip a little bit, Cook should slip a little, well, you know, he'd be right there.
And coming into this mix right behind the 25 Sitco Superguard Dodge, Lyndon Amick's sneaking up on this bunch. Boy, with 7 degrees of banking, making that inside pass stick is awfully tough.
It is very tough. Hard to get the traction you need with no more banking than that coming off the corner with the power that these trucks have.
And NASCAR frowns if you use the truck on the outside as a cushion.
We see it sometimes.
Especially if you shove them into the wall very hard. Yeah. On board now with Dennis Setzer, the #1 Mopar Dodge. He is in 15th. That's Lyndon Amick right in front of him. Don't count Setzer out. No. He started 19th at Nazareth and won that race, and he started 20th tonight.
And remember the great run he had here a year ago, trying to take the lead and spun out. Down on the inside. Here he's trying that inside again on Lyndon Amick.
Amick, Ken Schrader's owned truck, the Penda Chevrolet.
Of course, we'll see him Amick tomorrow night in the Busch race.
That'll be at 8:30 Eastern time right here on ESPN. Joe Ruttman, if he wins, he gets a new contract. You heard it right here. We'll find out if he can pull it off. Back at round 18 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Powerstroke 200. You're looking at our race leader. That is Joe Ruttman. He has led now 36 of our 56 laps. Greg Biffle has led the other 20. His last lap down around 105. Tires are starting to go away. He qualified at 111, Ned.
The longer they run, the more those tires get worn and heated up, the more they'll slide around on the racetrack. Takes away the traction, slows down the speed.
Moving back into second position is the 24 of Jack Sprague. He's trying to go around Tony Roper in the Mittler Ford, and he's having a little bit of difficulty. Roper is a lap down. That's first time back for Tony in this truck.
He's in 27th position.
And there is Greg Biffle. That's a battle for position. Biffle running third right now. The points leader coming in by 193 markers tonight. The GMAC Chevrolet with Sprague has to stay in front and hope that Biffle has a problem. He needs to get back into this points championship chase. He's only 53 out of third, but he's 262 points behind Biffle coming into tonight.
Well, Biffle has just been so good at practically everywhere they've been.
Well, these guys had a little contretemps, a little get-together in practice. Let's go back and take you. The one practice session was 2 hours long, and this got a little interesting, Ned, as everybody was trying to make a little statement here, perhaps.
Yeah, of course, they wanted to set their trucks up to try to pass, and Sprague got down on the inside. Oops, bumped him again.
Well, Biffle stops
yeah.
and short breaks him, and then he says, okay, you want to play that game? I'll play that game. Then he comes around, and it's a little tete-a-tete, and here we are now with those same two trucks running second and third. That's a good look at the tech area. We'll need that a little bit later, guys. There is on board with Greg Biffle. Came close there.
Very close. Biffle's truck, when you let Ruttman and Sprague by, the handle had gone away a little bit, but it seems like that the longer they run here, the better his truck's getting, so he's coming back.
Biffle with 5 victories this year at Pikes Peak, Texas, Kentucky, Watkins Glen, Michigan. Does any of that sound familiar? They're all tracks a mile or longer. But look at Jack Sprague. The shorter, the better. In 2000, he has 2 wins on the short tracks, 4 top 5. Look at that average finish. Second in just the 4 races that we've done on the short tracks. But in the 2000 season, 3 DNFs, and that's the reason he is back in 4th spot for the championship.
I think he had to use his tires up a little bit more than he wanted to in some of the lap traffic. Now this one he's passing on the outside. That's the way he would rather do it. It doesn't heat those tires up as much. But the trucks before that, he passed here, he's having to go to the inside again and heat those tires up. And Biffle was sitting back there and keeping his truck much straighter. Trying to hear what they were saying there. Whoa, that's close.
Little rubbing with Rob Morgan. The Axiom Ford, and that's what short track racing's all about. If you aren't going to give me the spot, I'm going to take it from you.
But you have to be awfully careful not to knock a fender in on the tire.
Let's move back to Kurt Busch. He is running in 4th right now with 2 victories so far this year. He started 3rd, slipped back this 1 position, and has basically been in that spot. Whoa, getting loose behind him there. That was B.A. Wilson, who was a lap down. Let's get an update on Kurt Busch from Amy East.
Well, Marty, Kurt has been complaining of an extremely loose truck right now. Let's not forget they have a lot of tape on the grill from their qualifying run. Now, the teams were allowed to take off some of that tape, but obviously the 99 did not get a lot of it taken off. Also, the 99 and the 50 run almost identical chassis setups week in and week out. It sure showed with their identical qualifying times here tonight.
Both of those trucks owned by Jack Roush.
Moving a little bit further back, there is the 41. That is Jamie McMurray. He's currently running in 5th place. He's 5 seconds behind the race leader, and that's exactly where he started the race.
Having a great run here tonight, even though he is 5 seconds behind. He's still doing a good job.
As Jamie McMurray tours IRP, the truck is coming to him. His crew chief, Todd Myers, has radioed to him. Now just take it easy, get the death grip off of the steering wheel, loosen up a little bit, and it appears Jamie has done so. Early in the race, he did touch the wall coming off of one of the corners, but the spotter radioed in that the right rear tire looked okay. So adventurous for young Jamie McMurray, but he is learning as he goes and doing a great job here at IRP.
Oh, he's very observant, too.
Let's go to the battle for 12th. Terry Cook in front of Randy Tolsma. We go on board with Tolsma. These guys are beating and banging.
Still in there. Still there. Still there.
For the 12th position.
Clear low.
That is Terry Cook's spotter. And here comes Setzer on the outside of Tolsma.
He saw an opening up there on the outside, hoping the spotter would let Tolsma know that he was there, and evidently he did.
Setzer on his way to pick up his 7th position. He started 20th. That will now move him into the 13th spot. Dave, let's get more on Randy Tolsma.
I just checked in his pit, Marty, and they told me he's real tight behind other trucks. Amy said some were taking tape off after qualifying. Tolsma needs to put more tape on to get some more downforce on the front end of that Dodge.
Riding on board with Steve Grissom. Grissom right now in the 15th position. That's Tolsma right in front of him. And Grissom has moved up well, 9 positions from 24th. They were horrible in practice and qualifying, but it looks like they may be getting a handle on it. Stay with us. We've got to take a commercial break. Joe Ruttman out in front by 1.7 seconds over Jack Sprague. Back at the Powerstroke 200, IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. You're looking at Joe Ruttman, our race leader, going around Scott Riggs, putting him a lap down. That means only 19 trucks on the lead lap, Ned.
He is mowing them down. And he's able to pass them, Marty, wherever he catches them, whether it's on the outside or the inside. He has a great handling truck.
The Craftsman $10,000 team bonus goes to a pole winner if he can also win the race. Joe Ruttman did it at Phoenix. Mike Wallace, Greg Biffle has done it twice. Kurt Busch capped it off in Milwaukee. Ruttman could do it again tonight. He had a record run for his 7th Bud pole. If he does it, another $10,000 for the team tonight.
I think there were some that thought when he turned that lap in qualifying that, hey, he's got a little bit too much of a qualifying setup here to run that fast. He might not be that good in the race. He's proving everybody wrong if they thought that.
Well, he said that he was pointing for the team and this race and at Nashville where we go next week. And he said, we are loaded for bear. And so far, he's not told any lies.
Yes, sir.
That's Lance Hooper in the Ingalls Chevrolet, or I should say the Ingalls Ford. The battle for 13th is still going on hot and heavy out there. Terry Cook right in front of Randy Tolsma and Steve Grissom in this mix as well. We're on board with Grissom.
Tolsma has been trying and trying for the last 20 laps to get around Terry Cook, but just has not been able to do it. We had a report from the pits that his truck was a little bit tight when he got up behind another truck.
3 coming with him. 43, you got 3 wide, buddy.
And He earned that one.
While all this action's going on, let's give you the Dodge race recap. Joe Ruttman has led 61 of 81 laps. There's been one lead change. We've had 3 cautions for 11 laps. Our average speed a little bit under our race record. We're at 85 and change. There are the 2 guys that have led this entire race so far through the first 81 laps. Rick Ware is the only truck that is out of the race. He had contact with the wall in turn 1. Let's go on board with Brian Reffner. Now he's in 16th. He's getting a bird's eye view. Whoa! There comes Terry Cook. He almost got around Terry, and then all of a sudden Terry comes right back on him.
Terry still running the outside groove. Get a little better traction off that outside groove, but now he's going down to go to the inside.
It's Randy McDonald from the WorldBestBuy.com, number 72.
Makes it work.
Let's get an update on that truck.com Chevrolet, the number 88 of Terry Cook. Amy?
Well, for the first time this year, Terry Cook's confidence is riding high because he knows when he comes down pit lane that he has a good chance of making up a lot of those spots that he's losing out on the track and maybe even gaining some more. He has got Jason Leffler's MBNA Busch pit crew. Now, just 1 week ago at Gateway, they had a 16-second 4-tire 2 cans of fuel stop. So they are very excited to have them pit crewing for the number 88 of Terry Cook.
And we may see some green flag stops tonight because the window opens, 105 to about 110 to 115 if you're really going to stretch it. And right now, the battle for second is really starting to heat up. There is Sprague, Biffle, and Busch. That is second, third, and fourth. They're almost nose to tail. Oh, there's on the front straightaway.
There's a wreck on the front, slow down. Wave them off.
It is Rick Crawford and Carlos Contreras, and Contreras' truck is junk. The Hot Wheels Dodge just torn up. And Crawford, he's got heavy damage.
Yeah, see, his steering is not like it needs to be. You can see a lot of damage to the front end of his truck. There he sees almost runs down into him again. But yes, a tremendous amount of damage to the 12 truck.
Well, the window net is not down on Carlos's truck, and that is the signal to NASCAR officials that you are okay. Fluids pouring out of the Milwaukee Tools Ford. Our 4th caution here on lap 88, right on the front straightaway. Well, we do see Carlos there. Now the spotter has told him, okay, so he is telling everybody he is okay. And the window net is down. So that is a very good sign. But boy, the crew is going to have a lot of work to do on this one. Let's take another look. Wow, Jason Leffler there too.
Yes, he got by. Andy Houston went by on the inside. Of course, they were lapping Contreras because Crawford and Houston and Leffler were all running together back there in the 8th, 9th, and 10th position.
Boy, well, I tell you, Rick was holding his line. It looks like Carlos just got loose a little bit. The end result is Crawford, who had 2 top 10 finishes on the short tracks this season, isn't going to have one tonight. And Carlos Contreras, well, they're going to be taking that one back on the hook.
It's too bad. We've talked about pit stops under green. Won't happen now because they got the opportunity to come in under caution, and here they come.
Dave Burns is going to be at Joe Ruttman's pit. It's a long way before he gets all the way down there. 35 miles an hour pit speed. And remember, only 2 tires under caution in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. David?
And I just spoke with Fred Wanke, Joe's crew chief. He said he has not said a thing the entire race. No adjustments. Right side tires for Ruttman. Greg Biffle, right side tires as well. Doesn't appear that they're making any adjustments. They might make a tire pressure adjustment. Amy.
Jack Sprague is taking on right side tires, and he's full of fuel. While Kurt Busch also right side tires, and he just had a little bit longer stop than the 24 because they gave him a right rear spring rubber.
And Danny Riggs had a log jam there waiting for all of the vehicles that stayed out on the racetrack, and it got a little dicey.
It really got a lot dicey, and Rick Crawford's truck was down there at the exit of pit road. In fact, he must have pulled down there after the green flag was put out that they could come into the pit, because I don't think NASCAR would have allowed them to come on the pit road with that truck sitting there the way that it was.
So right now we can tell you that everyone, the 16, the 88, the 52, the 1, Everybody took right side tires. And we'll come back and reset this race for you here at the Powerstroke 200 right after this. Well, we've had some interesting developments here. Our top 6 trucks are not the 6 that you would think. Steve Grissom is your race leader, Ned.
And he and 5 other trucks pitted a lap before the others did. Apparently the pit road was open and the others didn't come in.
Joe Ruttman missed it. Let's get more from the pits. Amy?
Well, just checking in with the 43 crew, they said that by pitting early that they gained 12 spots out of the pits and that they took advantage of that. Now, the 88 just talked with Jerry Cook, crew chief for Terry Cook, and I said, does that work to your advantage? And he said, big time. Dave Burns?
16 of Jimmy Hensley. They also made the right call. They came in for rights, made a track bar adjustment. He was a little tight in the center, a little loose off. And then I overheard radio chatter from the 99 of Kurt Busch, and sure enough, they said, gosh, we just screwed up on that one. They did not come in early like the other guys.
So apparently the pits opened the very next lap after the caution came out, and those teams were very alert, came into the pits, and the others just missed it that the pit road was open.
I can hear the guys teasing Joe Ruttman, who was the race leader. Of course, Joe being 55 years old, they're going to tease him about not being able to see anymore and didn't realize he should have pulled in 1 lap earlier. Here's the pit in and out situation. Ruttman falls down to 7th, Sprague to 9th, Biffle to 8th, Busch to 10th, McMurray all the way to 14th. Who are the big winners? Grissom, Cook, Hensley, that's your top 3. Then Refner, Amick, and Marty Houston. Now, here they are. This is the stop 1 lap earlier, and the caution was out, and the pits were open. Ruttman and everybody else missed it, and these 6 trucks, what a huge break.
Well, track position is so important. And that's some heads-up work there.
So Steve Grissom finds himself on the point. He's our 3rd different leader here. He's led for 5 laps at Indianapolis Raceway Park. We go back green very soon. We've just gone back to green flag racing after our 4th caution at the Powerstroke 200, along with Ned Jarrett, Amy East, Dave Burns. I'm Marty Reed. We're running on lap number 98 of 200. Steve Grissom is your race leader. Terry Cook right behind him is in 2nd position. That 17 truck is Ricky Hendrick. He's a lap down.
Here's Cook. He wants to lead. Looks down on the inside.
5 bonus points, remember, for a lap led.
With new tires, that inside groove will work.
Gonna get him, buddy. Good job.
And here comes Jimmy Hensley.
Outside,
He's in 3rd right now.
Outside, still outside. You're clear high, buddy. You look at it, buddy.
Terry Cook is going to pick up the 5 bonus points for leading a lap. He's our 4th different leader tonight. Jimmy Hensley in 3rd, right in behind Steve Grissom. Rick Crawford is out of this race after the contact with Carlos Contreras, and Dave Burns is caught up with him. David?
Hello, there we go. Actually, it was me, Marty. I'm down here with Rick Crawford. Rick, very dejected. What happened from your viewpoint?
Well, it's unfortunate, but Milwaukee Electric 2 Ford, we were running 7th or 8th and fixing to make some adjustments during the pit stop, and but we didn't make it that far. Carlos Contreras and the 12 truck lost it coming off a Ford, ended up in my lap, so I shoved him down the front straightaway and broke something on the front. We're trying to fix it and get back out there.
Well, on a tight bull ring, there is no place to go, and all Rick could do is just hit Carlos and push him down the front stretch.
Well, my apologies, Amy. I knew Dave's voice hadn't changed that much. Meanwhile, the lead has changed. 43, Steve Grissom, the Dodge by Petty, is out in front again, so that's our 5th lead change. And Hensley has moved into 2nd position. Now remember, Jimmy likes this racetrack.
He loves this racetrack. I mentioned earlier that he led almost the entire distance here a few years ago, 200 laps, and then lost on the restart with a flat tire.
Yep, had the infamous green-white checker situation and a flat cost him the victory. But in prior starts, as he is looking behind and over his shoulder, there is Jack Sprague, or I should say Ricky Hendrick in the 17, and Joe Ruttman now working his way back into the mix. He has gotten around Terry Cook for 3rd.
Yeah, he was 7th when the green flag waved, so he is definitely coming towards the front in a hurry. Hey, Ricky Hendrick has gotten his truck running very good now. He lost a lap earlier, but now running very strong.
Yeah, Ricky spun it around, and that's what got him eventually a lap down. But you're right, Ned. He is doing very well. He's had 2 other NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races. He's finished 6th and 7th. There is Greg Biffle. Biffle's in 6th position. We're looking out the back right now. That's Rob Morgan behind him. Now, Morgan is a lap down. There is the guy he's got to worry about. That number 3 Johns Manville Chevrolet of Brian Reffner. Looking out the front of Brian Reffner's Chevy. Let's get our Lucas Oil telemetry in here. Fresh tires, speed ought to be going up.
Should be.
Over 132 this time.
Yes. Those RPMs up there almost to 9,000.
Let's go back to the race leader. And it looks like Joe Ruttman may have the best truck on this racetrack. He is about to eat up Jimmy Hensley.
Boy, he went into that corner high, turned the thing left, and just drove down on the inside, and Hensley said, I can't fight that. That truck's too good. Let him go.
Hensley's best finish this year was 2nd at St. Louis. He finds himself bumped back to 3rd. Let's see who's fastest at the line. Whoa, Greg Biffle at 105 and change.
Well, of course, Ruttman and Hensley, speed was scrubbed off with them running side by side that last time.
Look at 2nd quick, Jamie McMurray, but a long pitch. Oh no, Rob Morgan has spun it around, made contact with the inside wall on the backstretch. The Axiom Ford, some damage to the left front corner, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, no caution.
Caution has not come out, so we are still green. Now Rob, the spotter will look to see if he has to come in, but I don't see any tire. Whoop, a little bit there.
A little bit of smoke. And here's a lead change.
It's Joe Ruttman underneath the 43. 2 Dodges, the Dana Dodge and the Dodge by Petty, and at the stripe it's still the 43 officially, but boy, Ruttman, oh, he's riding him up just a little bit into the wall.
Put that old slide job on him.
And Ruttman, the 55-year-old KG veteran from Upland, California, retakes the lead. That'll be our 5th official lead change. Let's go back and catch up what happened to Rob Morgan.
There's Kurt Busch on the inside of him, and some contact, and around he goes. Busch did a good job. He and Jack Sprague both of not getting more involved.
Actually, Sprague got into Busch just a touch, but neither of those two got turned around. So I'm sure Rob Morgan's going to love seeing that video, and Kurt Busch will be on his Christmas card list for sure.
And Morgan is in the pits now. Coming out of the pits, I should say.
So Rob has gone another lap down. He was 1 down at the time. You're looking at the battle between Kurt Busch and the 24 of Jack Sprague. That is for the 9th position, actually 8th on the racetrack. Busch is currently running 8th.
And here goes Sprague. Gets the nose up there, but can't make it work.
You've noticed that that truck started, the 99, the Exide Ford, but now Tractor Supply is on the rear quarter panel. A lot more sponsorship. Oh, we've got another yellow flag, and now Rob Morgan's into the wall at turn 2. So the Axiom Ford of Rob Morgan is not having a very good day, and it looks like this one might put him behind the wall permanently. So the 26-year-old Morgan from Conway, Arkansas, may be out of this one. Stay with us. Under our 5th caution here at the Powerstroke 200 in Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Joe Ruttman did not miss the open pit sign this time, as everybody was diving in except Lyndon Amick. He stayed out and has taken over the race lead. There is Rob Morgan's Axiom Ford. He got into the turn 2 wall. That's why we're under the caution. Now here are the triple pits. Grissom got to his spot first. The clock was running. Everybody took left side tires, Ned, except for Jamie McMurray. He took rights.
And these 3 trucks that were running up front, as we see their time, Grissom was in 11.1 seconds. And he and Ruttman are going to race right out at the end of pit road. Ruttman 8.1 seconds once he got to his pits. Hensley 10.3, all good pit stops. But see that jam up at the end of pit road.
So the fuel was topped off. Now, remember back on lap 90, they pitted and got right side tires. So here, On lap 117, they have fresh lefts. Let's get an update from Dave Burns.
Well, Marty, Joe Ruttman took on left side tires, and of course he's leading the race, running extremely well, and I've asked Fred Wanke 3 or 4 times if they're changing anything, and he gives me that, are you kidding me, kind of look. This time he told me, why don't you just go over and get a hamburger? We're not changing anything here. Joe's leading the race. Amy East?
Well, down in the Team Renzi Motorsports, they did take on left side tires. They made a track bar adjustment, and Jimmy Hensley has been complaining of being a little tight in the center. Now, although they came in 3rd position and out in 5th, they're not disappointed because all the track position they made up on that first pit stop just a few laps ago has been well worth it.
And there's a good look at the Mobile Max 2 Chevrolet of Jimmy Hensley. Lyndon Amick is our race leader right now. He did not take a pit stop. High above, one of America's most enduring corporate images, the Goodyear blimp, floating overhead, providing our aerial views tonight. The Spirit of Goodyear is one of 7 airships in the Goodyear blimp fleet. Goodyear now has 2 blimps in Europe, 1 in South America, 1 in Australia, and 3 here in the United States. Thanks, guys. Great pictures tonight. Looks like we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. The lights are out on the pace truck. Mike Dolan has pulled it behind the turn 3 wall. There you can see the Ford pace truck coming around. On the inside, the lap vehicles, that's Ricky Hendrick. On the outside, Lyndon Amick, the Penda Chevrolet owned by Kenny Schrader. He is our 5th different leader, and we're back to green flag racing on lap 119.
It'd be interesting to see how long he can stay out front with the others having new left side tires.
Yes, remember, Lyndon only has the fresh rights. He stayed out when this 5th caution period came out. Ricky Hendrick 1 lap down in 18th position. We've got 17 trucks on the lead lap.
Ricky's truck is still fast. Ruttman trying to find a way around him and not abuse his tires too much. Now he's got a run coming off of turn 2.
Lyndon up in front. Now we're on board with Greg Biffle. Biffle running in the 4th spot. Trying to get underneath Grissom. Can't do it. Now he dives for the corner into turn number 1.
Outside.
Max Jones, spot for him. And he tells his driver he's clear, and he takes over the 3rd position.
They made an air pressure adjustment on Biffle's truck when they put the left side tires on it.
Meanwhile, there is the battle for the lead. Lyndon Amick in only his 2nd NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race ever. His first and only was Daytona in February. He finished 22nd, and Joe says, I still have the best truck, and I still know how to do that slide job.
Boy, he does. He just drove her down on the inside, and Lyndon very wisely didn't fight him going into that corner. That was a smart thing to do because it helps Lyndon to keep that track position. Ruttman was going to get it because he does have the faster truck, so let him go and try to stay ahead of many of those behind him, because if he just got to racing with Ruttman, he heated his tires up, lost a lot of time on the racetrack, so that was a good, smart move.
Well, there's one other thing that a lot of the drivers will compliment Joe Ruttman about. Even at age 55, he's braver than most. He's willing to take it deeper into that corner as well.
He'll drive her on down there, no question. Ooh, look back at the pack here.
That's Andy Houston and Terry Cook banging door handles, and 3 wide underneath. Look out. This is going to get dicey, and the 25 of Tolsma's going around. Randy Tolsma does a great job of keeping it off the wall.
3 wide. No caution, buddy. Keep digging.
And then the 9 truck further down the track is now spun in turn number 3, and now the caution is out.
He's coming up on you.
Now Tolsma got his truck righty, so he's going to be able to come around and not lose a lap.
Lance Hooper from Palmdale, California, started 12th, but now finds himself with some damage. Looks like he's got the fluids leaking out underneath the number 9.
Took that wreck a good while to finish, didn't it?
Boy,
started over there off in between turns 1 and 2, and ended up with Hooper a little farther down the track.
Our 6th caution. The record for this event is 9-02 of Jimmy Englebright. The Jelly Belly machine has got a problem as well. Look at the left front. We go on board. He looks like he's going to stay out. And that's Lance Hooper's smoke up front. He's trying to work his way down towards pit lane. Lap number 125 here of 200. There's Rick Corelli. Let's go back and see if we can see exactly what happened. Now watch the 41 diving underneath.
All the way down and below the yellow line, and he just slides right out into the 02 of Engelbreit.
And then that slides him into the 25 of Randy Tolzman. The Citgo Super Guard Dodge goes around.
And some of the leaders are back on pit road.
Dave, pick it up.
This will be their third change. Rights, lefts, now rights again for Biffle. Rights for Kurt Busch as well. This will be the last set of rights that they have to use here tonight. Remember, only 16 tires per weekend for the Craftsman Truck Series. Amy East.
Randy Tolzma has gone in. We got a little technical glitch with Amy's mic. We'll get back to her. Looks like they've got him some fresh good years, and he's back out onto the racetrack, but he's going to find himself well back in this pack. This is going to get a little interesting now. Joe Ruttman stayed out. So with these other guys pitting, they're going to have a lot of traffic to work through.
They do have a lot of traffic to work through, but his truck was so good. I don't think he needed to give up that track position to get fresh rubber.
Well, everybody that pitted came in for right side tires. So will it pay off for Joe Ruttman, or will it pay off for the others? We'll find out when we come back. Back at the Powerstroke 200, you're looking at the race leader, Joe Ruttman. We are under our 5th caution of the day. Take a look. This was well, let's be blunt about it. It's a dumb move.
Well, the 41 truck, there was no way that truck was going to stick down on the inside, and went in there and clipped the Engelbreit truck, and he was on the inside of Tolzma.
On board with Jimmy Engelbreit. Watch what happens.
Of course, when he gets hit, he slides right up into Tolzma.
And Tolzma is the biggest loser in this deal as he gets spun all the way around. And then there's where the contact occurs later on down the track with the 9 truck. Here's one more look at it.
They were 3 wide and just not enough room.
I think Jamie has learned that when that track flattens out below that line, you can't make that truck stick.
Actually, I think it banks the other way a little bit. And
there's Tolzma. He did a great job of keeping it off the wall. And he is still on the lead lap. He is in 18th position, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Now remember, Ruttman did not pit. Several other trucks did. And we'll find out how it shakes out. Ruttman, Lyndon Amick, and Steve Grissom, they all stayed out.
Well, those trucks that did pit are in some heavy traffic.
Lance Norrick in the Aventa Chevrolet trying to get his lap back. Look out. Door handle to door handle with the leader.
Yeah, Ruttman doesn't need that. I mean, you know, just to get a fender knocked in on a tire or something like that. Could very easily knock some sheet metal in on the tire.
Let's go to 3rd place. On board with Steve Grissom. Watch all this action from his perspective. Lucas Telemetry. And look at the 24, Jack Sprague coming around him. Let's get an update from Amy.
And remember that Steve Grissom did not pit. He had radioed into his team that he thought those trucks that pitted made a huge mistake because the track position here at IRP is key, and they felt lucky enough to gain a lot of that track position on the lap 88 stop. But they realize now that they're going to have some older tires than the rest of those trucks. So right now they're just trying to hold on for a top 10 finish.
Sprague is another one of those trucks that stayed out as well, and he has moved into 3rd. Marty Houston stayed out, and he is now in the 5th position. Of the guys that did pit, I mean, it's further back, all the way back to about, way back around outside the top 10, in fact. There is the 41 of McMurray.
And what little you could gain with new tires, you're going to use them up trying to come back through that traffic. So I'm not sure you're going to gain anything besides losing all that track position.
Ryan,
yeah,
big contact. That is the Mopar Dodge of Dennis Setzer.
Caution is out.
There's also one other truck right there. It looked like Ricky Hendrick got turned around in this mess as well. And we have our 6th caution of the evening. Our record is 9. And all of a sudden, these guys are having a hard time staying green. And there is Ricky's truck.
Dennis Setzer had worked his way up in the top 10. He was running in 8th position when this happened. Of course, he'll stay on the lead lap. Well, we expected expected action, and we're getting it.
Yeah, on board with Dennis Setzer right now, and we're waiting to see what's going to happen as far as potential pit stops. That smoke looks like that's coming from Jimmy Englebright's truck right in front of it. Cars are tomorrow night, Marty. Trucks are tonight. Let's go back and take another look.
Well, here's Setzer down on the inside of the 3 truck, and he just loses the back end, spins around. Let's see where Ricky Hendry comes into play. Boy, he's lucky there. No one hit him. Going
There's
inside.
Ricky.
There's Ricky. He might have slowed down, might have got tapped from the rear, or maybe just hit his brakes and spun around.
Let's take a look from up atop on the blimp. The number 1, right on the left side of your screen, right there.
Well, he ran in there pretty hard, similar to the way Murray did a little bit ago, and simply lost traction.
Well, and Setzer had a problem here last year, being a little too aggressive in the later stages of the race. It looked like it has come back to bite him again. Indianapolis Raceway Park with only 7 degrees of banking is a tough place to tame. Our 7th caution, let me correct myself from a little bit earlier. The record is 9. We're going to try not to break it tonight. Stay with us. Well, we've been slicing and dicing tonight in the Powerstroke 200. RPM tonight will dissect the highlights. Also a Busch Series preview and Brickyard 400 update and a preview tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern time with John Kernan. All on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of Go Network, go.com. Lights are out on the pace truck as we look down from the Goodyear blimp. And right now, of those guys that pitted that last time before this last caution, well, it looks like Mike Wallace is the best of the bunch. He's managed to fight his way back to 8th, but Biffle is 12th. Busch is 13th. The race leader is Joe Rutman. Let's show you why we're under the 7th caution. We're on board with Dennis Setzer, and here's what happens.
Goes down in the corner. A little too hard on the inside of Brian Ruffner and just loses control, and around he goes. He's still on the lead lap. And also, as we get the green flag here, we're restarting this race. We should mention that Ricky Hendrick had gotten his lap back, gotten back on the lead lap a couple of cautions ago.
So we have 18 trucks on the lead lap, and Joe Rutman, who has been the class of the field all night, he's led 93 laps. He will take home the extra 5 bonus points for that honor. And remember, he started from the pole. If he wins, he picks up a $10,000 Craftsman bonus for the team.
Plus a new contract for next year.
That's true. Right at the beginning of the show, in case you were not with us, top of the broadcast, Bobby Hamilton said, Joe, you win the race, you got a new contract. He had a pretty big smile on his face, too.
Yes, he did. He said, that'd be easy to go out here and win this race. A lot of incentive.
Let's update something. Our graphic had ESPN2 for RPM tomorrow. It is actually on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Don't want you looking all over the dial for it. Rutman, well, I tell you, he has pulled out a half a second lead. Here's a battle for 7th. Now, Mike Wallace, he was one of that group that stopped and gave all that track position up. Now, he has fought his way back to 7th. We're on board with Brian Reffner in the Johns Manville Chevy. And this is why you don't want to be back there. Look at this log jam.
A lot of heavy traffic.
Jason Leffler in 9th position right now. So Leffler in his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race doing very well.
He's driven a very smart race, Leffler has. Of course, he'll be running in the Busch race tomorrow night.
There's Leffler trying to get under Andy Houston. That is for the 9th position right now. Reffner right in front of him. Can't seem to make it stick. He'll slide back into place. Whoa, Terry Cook almost hit the wall. And there is Greg Biffle in the Granger Ford moving into view. He is currently running 12th.
But he has some good trucks to pass there before he can move on up through the pack.
On board with Brian Reffner.
Andy Houston trying to get by on the inside. He's got a run coming off the corner. It's pretty good traction. Now let's see, he'll drive in pretty hard. Do a little slide job. Here he comes.
Oh, and there's a little rubbing going on.
Out there, clear.
So Brian Reffner gets by again. Look at right behind him. There is Jason Leffler duking it out with Terry Cook, and they're doing some short track rubbing. On board with Greg Biffle, and here we go again.
Terry, hold on to it. Both of them going around.
All right. Going, buddy. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Leffler and Terry Cook into the turn 4 wall.
Fire it up and get it going. You got the yellow. The leader's on the backstretch.
Our 8th
Go on if you
caution.
can.
Spotter's trying to tell him to get it going before you get lapped.
We're still behind you. Hustle it up.
Terry is going to make it. Leffler is not.
No, he's got too much damage to his truck. And certainly Terry Cook has a lot of damage to his truck also.
Push back and lock tight now.
Last Tuesday, there was a go-kart deal out in Indianapolis, and Stefan Johansson, these two spun each other out in that one too. Let's go back to it. You can see Terry and Jason.
Side. They hit again, and Leffler gets loose, and Cook goes up into the wall. He gets loose after he gets hit.
So damage to both trucks. Pits are closed. The 88's got to come in. He can't make it around. Amy East is there.
Oh, there's some heavy damage to the right front of Terry Cook's 88 Chevy, and this is not what I think him and Jason Leffler wanted to do out there. Again, the two are very close friends off the track, and I'm sure we're having fun with the side-by-side battle. But at IRP, with the degree of banking, if you get up in that loose stuff, as Jason Leffler had with Terry's help, of course, this is what happened. So Terry Cook's day, which could have been a top 10, is now going to be a very disappointing finish.
Well, and remember, it's Jason's Bush crew that is crewing for Terry. So this, I mean, it's going to be an interesting conversation when this one's all said and done. And there is Leffler. And it looks like he's going to be able to stay out.
Yeah, I thought his truck had the most damage, but that's not the case. Cook has the most damage.
So as we take one more look at it, you decide who's at fault as we head for commercial here at the Powerstroke 200. Under our 8th caution here at the Powerstroke 200, Indianapolis Raceway Park. I'm Marty Reed along with Ned Jarrett down in pit lane. It's Amy East, Dave Burns. This is why we're under our 8th caution.
Terry Cook in the 88 truck on the inside. Jason Leffler in the 5 truck. Cook's truck gets loose, gets up into Leffler, and around Leffler goes, and the 88 into the wall.
Let's go down to Amy East. She's with Terry Cook.
Well, outside of Jason Leffler, Terry had a good vantage point of what happened there. You guys were racing really hard, Terry. What happened?
Just good hard short track racing. It's tough to pass here at IRP, and we're trying to come back through the pack on good tires, and just got into Jason down there in the corner. I hate it for both of us, and especially for this pickuptruck.com Chevrolet Silverado. We had a good truck tonight, had some good pit stops going, and shame to take us out of the race like that.
Knowing the two of you are good friends off the track and that Jason's Bush team was helping you out here tonight, any animosity after this crash tonight?
No, none at all. It's just, you know, it's probably a full moon out here tonight, and it's good hard racing here at IRP, and it's just tough to pass, and, you know, the contact's going to happen on a 5-mile track like this, and we just hate that it happened tonight.
Okay, you guys, back to racing.
And we are back to green flag racing, working lap 1:1:54. And it's Joe Ruttman still in front, but there is Jack Sprague. Lyndon Amick in 3rd, doing very well as well. Whoop, little contact. That's the 73. He's a lap down, B.A. Wilson.
Now remember, Amick, he has older tires on the left side than these other trucks, but he's been hanging right up in here. And I tell you, these cautions have been helping him, Marty, keeping those tires cool. So allowing him to stay right up there. Good smart move.
Joe Ruttman's still got the class of the field right now. That truck is on rails. Let's go on board with Mike Wallace. He is in 6th, and he's got both Houston brothers behind him back there.
Marty is in 7th position, and Andy in 8th.
Also looks like the lap truck of B.A. Wilson directly behind him.
Now Marty just passed his brother.
This is what he's got in front of him. He's got Jamie McMurray in the 41 alongside the 43 of Steve Grissom. That's a battle for 4th. McMurray has it. So those 3 are duking it out for position. Here we go. Wallace underneath. Side by side with 44 laps to go. Down into turn 3. Wallace gets clear. Now remember, Wallace did stop and he fell back, but now he's clawing his way back through, so he has the fresher tires over Steve Grissom.
That puts him up to 5th.
Wallace. He has 2 wins this year. Of course, the season opener at Daytona and then at Mesa Marin. So he's won on the big tracks and he's won on the short tracks. There is the race leader, Joe Ruttman, in front of Jack Sprague. This is the best run Sprague's had in a long time. So he loves getting back to the short tracks.
And he's working on Joe Ruttman now. Hey, he's going to make a pass.
So Jack Sprague is going to give us our 9th different lead change among 6 different drivers, and Lyndon Amick may be setting up Ruttman as well. Could Ruttman be giving it a breather? Does he want to see what Jack Sprague has for the end of the race? There's Bobby Hamilton, the truck owner. Stay with us. Just as we come back, we've got the caution out for the 9th time. And that ties our record, and it is Andy Houston.
He and Steve Grissom had been racing side by side. They got together a little bit, coming off at turn 2 and a spot on the back stretch.
Here, boys. I mean, just blatantly.
Well,
they're closed, though. Yard.
This is what went on a lap prior. You heard Andy Houston say he just got into me.
Okay, there's Andy going down on the inside, coming off at turn 2. They're side by side. Andy gets a run, and the left front of Grissom's truck hit the right rear of Houston's truck and shot him right into the wall the wrong way.
As we take another look at it, see what happens as they're coming down on the wall here.
I think Andy thought that he had him cleared and didn't quite have him cleared.
Andy comes in 3rd in the points, only 16 out of 2nd place, 209 behind the lead. Now here's from Grissom's point of view. This can give us a good look.
It just was not quite past him. And you know, whether it's a natural thing as Grissom was coming off of the corner to sort of come down away from that wall, and whether it was just a natural thing that put him down into Houston or Houston slid up into it. Anyway, they got together.
And here's Andy coming down into pit lane. Now, he is on the lead lap. Amy, damage to the right front, pretty severe.
Well, his truck almost looks identical to Terry Cook's with the heavy right front fender damage. Now, down here, they seem to feel like that the contact between the 43 and the 60 might have been a little bit more towards the 43's end, but Andy has not said whether or not he is claiming that he might have caused that as well. But they say it's pretty heavy. They're now checking out the radiator. Rick Wren is trying to motion to some of the crew members to maybe going underneath the hood at this point. They're talking about it, pulling some tape off, instead changing the right front. They're going to get Andy back out.
They'll try and keep him from going a lap down here. And while we've got a moment, while these guys continue to thrash away, and they may not make this before getting the...
just now coming off of 4 here.
Hey,
look all right?
Let's send along a birthday wish. Bob Daniels brought NASCAR here back in 1982. He was general manager with NHRA. He turns 70 tomorrow. Happy birthday. And Amy East, our own Amy, is no longer a single woman. She's engaged, guys. She's off the market. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Powerstroke 200. We've just gone back to green flag racing. Joe Ruttman is still the race leader. Right behind him, the 24 GMAC Financial Services Chevrolet of Jack Sprague. In 3rd place, Lyndon Amick. He's got a great run going, Ned.
He has a great run going, and again, his tires are a little bit older on the left side, but he has been hanging right with the leaders. He got great track position, has taken advantage of it. Jamie McMurray coming down, he's in 4th position.
And right behind him in 5th, look at the 41 there, Jamie McMurray surviving that one, shall we say, not so great move, and he is doing very well in 4th. A little contact there. That's Mike Wallace trying to get around the lap vehicle of Lance Norrick, and he does.
The Biffle has worked his way back up to 6th.
And he's now trying to come around Lance Norrick as well. There he is, the Granger Ford. Remember, Ford looking for their 50th win. Could the number 50 give it to him tonight? We posed that question at the beginning of the evening. He's going to have to get on his horses.
And Andy Houston has hit the wall.
On the front stretch.
Andy Houston
Wave him off.
hit in turn 4 and slid all the way down into the front straightaway.
I think what happened, we saw the damage on the right front of that truck. And
now the right front don't look
to
like
get the sheet metal away from it. I think he probably, maybe some sheet metal might have cut that tire. because the right front tire is flat.
Yeah, it's definitely down, Andy. So our 10th caution, we've set a record tonight for that end of the equation.
Right here when he took out of the pit.
Jason Leffler's night is also over. Dave Burns is with him.
Well, and it's his teammate Mike Wallace moves into the top 5. Jason unfortunately is out, and a decent run tonight, but what finally put you out?
We had some sort of motor problem, you know. Team ASC truck was good. We just got tangled up and fell a lap down. But I wanted to finish the race and get some laps. I just got to thank Team ASC, Jim Smith with Ultra Wheels, and everybody involved in this deal for giving me the opportunity. It was fun.
Would you agree with me this is better than your first Busch race last year here at IRP? You had a better result, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'd say I got more laps, that's for sure. But, you know, this is a good truck, and I enjoy driving it. And I enjoy driving the truck series. I got a lot of horsepower. It's kind of what I'm used to. And it's a lot of fun tonight, you know. I hope we'll come back and maybe do a couple more.
And you will see him in the Busch race tomorrow night. Navy East has caught up with Ken Schrader.
And Ken Schrader is talking to his driver, Lyndon Amick. Does Lyndon have anything for those two tough trucks in front of him?
Those two trucks are awfully good. Our little Panda truck's good, but Lyndon's doing a real good job. Wally made a good call and only put 2 tires on him one time, and it's got track position and it's working.
How bad do you want to be in that seat right now?
Yeah, I'm very happy just watching Lyndon drive it. He's doing a real good job.
All right, well, that's Ken Schrader, and he is watching his driver, Lyndon Amick, trying to coach him and maybe get a victory out of tonight.
And both Jason and Lyndon will be with us again tomorrow night. They'll be doing double duty in the Busch Series race. Stay with us when we come back. We'll get this mess cleaned up, go back to green flag racing at the Powerstroke 200. Our 10th caution here, a record this evening in the Powerstroke 200, but Joe Ruttman, a chance to win from the pole, pick up a $10,000 Craftsman team bonus. Jack Sprague looking to get back in victory lane again after a long drought. He's won a couple of times this year, but finding it hard. And take a look at the points right now. Andy Houston would drop down to 4th. Sprague would move up to 3rd. And right now, the gap is still the same between 1st and 2nd as it was when we came in tonight, Ned, 193.
So Greg Biffle has worked his way back up to 6th place after falling pretty deep into the field after making an extra pit stop. But Mike Wallace, of course, up there in 5th place, so just 1 position in front of him. So that's
and there's 5 points. And he's in 6th position.
And he has led a lap, and Mike Wallace hasn't, so that's the reason it'd be the same.
Let's go down to Dave Burns. He's with Bobby Hamilton, team owner of that number 18 Dana Dodge.
Or as the team likes to call him, Marty, Bob Daddy. I'm here with Bob Daddy right now. Okay, let's get some details here. If Ruttman wins, I mean, he's doing a pretty good job out there. Are we talking multi-year, or are you just going to commit to a single year with him?
Well, we usually do just a single year because if he don't like it or whatever, we're happy with Joe, but I was sitting on top of the box and I stuck my foot in my mouth out there. I told him if he'd win this race, I'd hire him next year. We didn't talk about pay. I know he's going to hit me for a big race. I just know it as much as I'm standing there. I should have talked about that first. I know he's going to get me.
And you've got the legal team right now drafting the papers as we speak?
Yeah, mine and his lawyers up in the Big Apple in New York are drawing them up right now.
I honestly believe it, guys.
Bobby Hamilton has brought a lot to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, including 1 win for his team. And as driver tonight, Joe Ruttman may make it again. Right now, Ruttman has led 133 of the 181 laps that we've run.
He has had a dominating truck, has driven it smart.
That's Dennis Setzer. He's in 11th position. There's the number 3 of Brian Reffner in 10th. There is Steve Grissom in 7th. Here's Biffle running in 6th. Mike Wallace right in front of him in the 5th position. And we're about ready to go back to green flag racing, hopefully all the way to the checker.
Well, Ruttman's had to beat those lap trucks a lot of times here tonight, but he's been able to do it each time. It's always a scary moment on restarts.
Oh, he gets a nice jump, and it's green, but did he go too early? We'll have to wait and see. Boy, he got a tremendous jump on Sprague. And in fact, Sprague's in trouble of losing several positions. Amick is underneath him. 2 of the lap trucks have gone by already. Amick diving under. Here comes Jamie McMurray as well.
Wonder if Sprague has a tire going down.
Yep, Sprague's in trouble. That's why it looked like such a big jump.
And trucks jamming up behind him, a couple of them getting into the wall, including Steve Grissom and Marty Houston, but they get straightened out and keep going.
No major damage, but another tough break for Jack Sprague. Engelbright looking back, and boy, Sprague's going out of sight.
He is. I have a feeling that he's got a tire going down. He's trying to get down to the inside of the racetrack, but he can't. Everybody keeps passing him, and he can't get down to go into the pits if that's what is wrong.
Pit in is on turn 3. That is the 66 of Corelli. Now he's got to dive down low if he wants to get in. There goes the 43 of Grissom. Oh, he gives him a tap. Was he waiting for Grissom? No, he's heading for the pit lane.
Well, that's too bad. That's such a great run going.
So Jack Sprague, who came in 262 points behind, is got damage to the right front. He's got a tire that looks like it's been going down.
Yeah, I think that right front tire is down.
Dave, he's coming your way.
And before tonight's race, Jack Sprague told me, I think I can get as close as second place if we can just keep from the trouble we've had all year. Well, here it comes again. More bad luck for Sprague. He does have that right front damage. They're going to change right side tires and go ahead and try to get the fender away from the right front. He's already gone.
But he has lost valuable track position. Yeah. Meanwhile, Joe Ruttman has checked out. Look at this margin. They come by. This will be the biggest lead of the night, 2.27 seconds. Lyndon Amick in second. Third is now Jamie McMurray. That would be a new career high for him if he can hold on to that. Same for Amick.
Amick trying to pass the lap truck, number 73.
That's B.A. Wilson that he gets around. Look out. McMurray's under attack. That's third, fourth, and fifth. McMurray, then Wallace, then Biffle. Biffle is doing what he has to do to win this championship. Get back into that top 5, score valuable points. Right now, Wallace all over the back bumper of the Ferris Concrete Dodge. On board with Biffle.
Oh, contact there.
Wallace, and then Biffle gets into Wallace.
Oh, this will get interesting.
So Biffle tries to take advantage. The beating and the banging with 11 laps to go. It's getting serious. Here we go. Rubbing down the backstretch. You're on board with Jimmy Engelbright. Lap traffic. That's Terry Cook. He's staying down low, out of the way. McMurray still holding on to that third spot. Let's go back and show you what happened from outside.
There Mike Wallace gets in with McMurray a little bit. He gets loose. Biffle gets down on the inside. And so they've been running side by side since then.
So we almost had a log jam, but everybody seemed to survive it. You're on board with Mike Wallace. This is not only for position. Remember, this is for championship points. Banquet positions at the end of the year. And big dollars. Right now, there is the points. Biffle and Wallace still at 193. Kurt Busch would jump up 2 spots to third. Houston would slip to fourth. Sprague now all the way down to fifth with his problems.
Yeah, a little while ago, Sprague had moved up to third place, but now with his trouble, he did lose a lap when he had to make that green flag pit stop. He's back in 20th position. We're talking about Jack Sprague.
So right now, it's Biffle trying to get around Mike Wallace. Gives him a little nudge.
A little bit of a nudge, try to get him a little bit loose. Gets that nose up there once again.
You know, Biffle really doesn't need to do this. He's taking a big risk here.
He really is for one position, although he's a racer. He wants every position he can possibly get, but he's also fighting for a championship. And one more position is not going to mean that much.
That's the 27 of Jeff Beck going slow on the Hastings Ford. They tuck up behind each other and get around the lap traffic. Meanwhile, McMurray still running well in third place. He's pulled out about a half a second on these guys. And it's a 1.25 second lead by Joe Ruttman over the 52 of Lyndon Amick.
Yeah, Lyndon has closed it down a little bit, but Ruttman had to be very careful in some traffic, and he lost a little bit of the lead that he did have.
5 to go, 5.
You heard Randy Goss tell Greg Biffle 5 laps to go. Right now, it looks like things have calmed down. Maybe Greg is listening to you, Ned, saying that it's okay. Wait a minute. 18, Joe Ruttman may have a problem. Amy, it can't be true, can it?
Well, they're in a panic down here because they want to win this. transition boxes, and they're hoping that this one will hold out for him. So Ruttman quickly flipped the switch boxes, and hopes that he can bring it home to victory lane.
So a potential disaster for Joe Ruttman, but he only has to make it 3 more laps.
But Amick has cut it down to 1.12 seconds. Knocked about 0.15 off that last lap, but that was when Ruttman was flipping the switch.
There is Mike Wallace. He's running 4th. Greg Biffle in 5th. That battle has sort of stabilized. For Ruttman, with 3 laps to go, his heart's got to be pounding. Remember, he's an old guy. He keeps saying, take it easy on me. I'm 55.
Well, he lost another 0.06 of a second that lap, but he still got over a second lead.
Two laps remaining. For Ruttman, it'll be the 6th win from the pole this year. It'll be his 2nd time from the pole. He did it back in Phoenix. The white flag is out. It will be his 10th career win in 134 starts. And what's even more important for Joe Ruttman, he's got himself a brand new contract courtesy of Bobby Hamilton's promise on our air. And here he comes out of turn number 4 with a $10,000 Craftsman team bonus, a new contract, and another victory, his 2nd of the season. It is Joe Ruttman first, Lyndon Amick with his career best 2nd, McMurray a career best 3rd, Wallace and Biffle rounding out the top 5. As they come across the line, 13 trucks finish on the lead lap. And look at the celebration down in the Dana Dodge pit.
I want to call those guys get contracts too. They should. They help.
Joe may make that one of the clauses, I'm sure. Congratulations to Joe Ruttman and the entire Dana Dodge team as they win from the pole here tonight in the Powerstroke 200. Underneath that helmet, there has got to be a great big smile. Going to be some more racing tomorrow from Indianapolis Raceway Park, the Kroger 200, the NASCAR Busch Series, 8:30 Eastern time right here on ESPN. Ned and Dave Burns and Matt Yoakum will be back with yours truly, and we hope you'll be with us then. If you need more information, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. Why isn't he smiling? He just won a race.
Yeah.
Or is he thinking about that contract?
That contract knows he's going to hit him big.
Let's go down to our Sears Craftsman winner's circle and find out what is happening. Dave Burns and Amy East. Dave, I think you're there in that mass confusion.
A mass of people down here, and I bet there's a $10,000 Craftsman bonus flying around, Gatorade, and somewhere in here there's going to be a contract for Joe Ruttman, who's going to climb out in just a second here and celebrate. And Joe, we got to ask you right now, what about winning here and this new contract from Bobby Hamilton?
Where's Bobby at? We got to hold him to it, though, you know. Is he still here? Fantastic. And the guys did a super job, and you know, just you can't thank Fred enough.
Congratulations, Joe. Great job. He's going to get a new contract and be with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in the Dana Dodge next year.
And look at the smile on his face as Bobby Hamilton congratulates him. The fireworks are on display here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and we'll have more fireworks tomorrow with the Busch Series and the Kroger 200. Baseball tonight is coming up next right here on ESPN. Want to thank Ned Jarrett, Amy East, Dave Burns, and great job. Fun working with you, Ned. Appreciate it very much. Looking forward to tomorrow night.
Sure do.
That's going to do it for us tonight. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. For Joe Ruttman, a perfect night from the pole, $10,000 bonus, a new contract, and the fireworks in the background. And the fireworks will continue again tomorrow in the Kroger 200. I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night from Indianapolis Raceway Park.